Hello there and welcome to the Sleepy Science Place. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe your day was long and crowded, filled with bright screens and unfinished thoughts, or maybe you're simply the kind of person who likes to drift off beneath a sky full of deep questions rather than a sky full of sheep. Either way, you are in exactly the right place. Tonight, we are setting out on a quiet and unhurried journey through 100 sleepy wonders of the universe, a long, gentle passage through stars and moons and faraway worlds, through soft blue planets and silent black space, through ancient light and strange, beautiful facts that may help your thoughts slow down and your breathing grow a little easier. So, wherever you are, let yourself settle in now. If you can, soften your shoulders. Let your jaw unclench. Let the bed hold you up, or the chair hold you up, or the night itself hold you up for just a little while. There is nothing you need to solve at this moment. Nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to prove. You can simply listen and rest. You can simply be here. And as we wander into the universe together, you don't need to remember every detail. In fact, you don't need to remember anything at all. This is not a test. It is not a lesson you must master. It is more like opening a window and letting cool cosmic air drift in. The universe is a beautiful thing to think about before sleep, because it is so large that it can make our busiest worries seem small, and so old that it can remind us that not everything needs to be finished tonight. Out there, stars are forming in clouds of dust. Moons are circling their planets with patient devotion. Light is crossing distances so wide that numbers begin to feel like lullabies. And somewhere, long before you arrived in this room, a photon may have started its journey toward your eyes, carrying the memory of a galaxy, or a nebula, or the warm golden surface of the sun. Tonight we are going to follow some of those memories. We are going to move slowly through them, one by one, until the mind begins to loosen and the body remembers how to sleep. Some of these wonders will be very far away, and some will be surprisingly close. Some will belong to the deep universe beyond our solar system, and some will belong to the planets and moons that have been quietly circling our sun all along. We'll visit places where mountains are taller than any mountain on Earth, where storms have been spinning longer than entire human lifetimes, where ice can survive in the shadow of the sun, and where whole worlds may drift through darkness with no star at all. We'll speak of ancient background light left over from the early universe, of gentle rings around distant planets, of stars so dense that a spoonful of them would feel impossible, and of small bright spacecraft that keep moving outward, carrying tiny messages from home. And I want this to feel less like a list and more like a river, a slow river of thought, something you can float on. If a fact catches your attention, you can follow it for a while. If another slips past you like moonlight over water, that is perfectly fine too. Let yourself drift. There's no rush. The universe has been here a very long time. It can wait for us to move slowly. If you enjoy this kind of gentle science storytelling, you might like to subscribe or leave a quiet little like so this channel can keep making long, calm journeys for nights like this. But only if it feels easy, only if it feels natural. Tonight, the most important thing is not clicking anything. The most important thing is getting comfortable, breathing a little deeper and letting your thoughts grow spacious. Let the room dim. Let your eyes grow heavy if they want to. Let the sounds around you fade behind the soft turning of the cosmos. Imagine for a moment that you are lying beneath an impossibly clear night sky. No city glare, no buzzing notifications, just darkness and stars and that feeling people sometimes get when they look upward for long enough. A feeling that is part wonder, part humility, part peace. The same universe that holds exploding stars and wandering comets also holds this quiet moment, this bed, this breath, this listener. You are a small part of something vast, yes, but also a real and beautiful part. The atoms in your body were shaped by old cosmic events. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you draw in so softly now, all of it belongs to a story much older than any one day's troubles. And maybe that is comforting. Maybe it helps to remember that you are not separate from the universe we're about to explore. You are one of its sleepy wonders too. So tonight, we'll move gently from the edges of the observable cosmos to the intimate strangeness of our own solar neighborhood, and then out again into galaxies and invisible forces and ancient light. We'll take pauses when we need them. We'll breathe. We'll slow down. And as the facts unfold, let them become soft shapes rather than sharp details. Let them blur a little around the edges. Let them become dream material. You're doing great. There's nothing to do now except be here. The stars are already above you whether you can see them or not. The planets are already turning. The universe is already humming along in its patient way. All you have to do is listen for as long as you like, and when sleep comes, you can follow it without apology. Now, let's begin our quiet tour of the universe. One of the gentlest thoughts to begin with is this. The universe we can observe appears to be about 13.8 billion years old, which means that when we look into deep space, we are looking into a kind of history book written in light. The farther we see, the farther back in time we are peeking, as if the night sky were a vast lake and every distant reflection belonged to another era. And the observable universe seems unimaginably wide, stretching roughly 93 billion light-years across, not because the universe has been older than it says, but because space itself has been quietly expanding while light was on the way. Even that idea can be soothing if you let it be. The cosmos is not fixed and stiff. It is spacious and unfolding. Here near home, sunlight takes a little more than 8 minutes to reach Earth. So every sunrise is already a message from the recent past, warm and golden and just slightly delayed. The moon, meanwhile, is slowly drifting away from Earth by a few centimeters each year, so gently that it feels almost like the universe breathing in slow motion. Nothing dramatic, nothing abrupt, just a quiet widening of the distance between old companions. And then there is Venus, dreamy and strange, where a single day lasts longer than a full year. Venus turns so slowly that by the time it has rotated once, it has already circled the sun. It is the sort of fact that feels invented, like something from a bedtime fairy tale, and yet there it is, a reminder that time does not feel the same everywhere. Nearby, Mercury, scorched by sunlight, still hides water ice in permanently shadowed craters near its poles. Even beside the sun, there are places where cold can keep a secret. That may be one of the first sleepy lessons of the universe. Opposites are always closer together than we think. Heat and ice, vastness and intimacy, motion and stillness. You can simply listen and rest as these contrasts pass by, like worlds turning slowly in the dark. On Mars stands Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system, so broad and high that if you were standing near its base, its summit might lie beyond the curve of the horizon. It rises with such patient enormity that it does not feel like a mountain at all, but like a continent having a dream of becoming vertical. Not far away, in the same rust-red world, runs Valles Marineris, a canyon system so immense it makes Earth's grandest canyons feel like sketches. It stretches across Mars like a scar left by deep old forces, a reminder that even planets can carry long memories in their surfaces. Then our thoughts drift outward to Jupiter, where the great red spot, that famous storm, has swirled for centuries, larger once than Earth itself, and still restlessly turning in the striped atmosphere. It is strange and comforting to imagine a storm older than every person you have ever known, spinning on and on beneath a distant sun. Beyond Jupiter, Saturn floats into view with its pale gold bands, an astonishing fact. If there were a bathtub large enough, Saturn's average density is low enough that it could float in water. The image is ridiculous and gentle at the same time, a giant ringed world bobbing like an impossible lantern. Its rings themselves are thinner than they appear, delicate in proportion, made of countless icy particles that may be much younger than the planet they encircle, almost like a temporary ornament hung on an ancient giant. And farther still waits Neptune, dark blue and wind-lashed, where the fastest winds in the solar system race across the planet at supersonic speeds. Imagine a world so distant that noon looks like twilight, and still the air there hurries along with fierce, invisible energy. Even in the cold outer dark, the universe remains alive with motion. There's no rush for you, though. Let those far storms race while you grow quieter here. Before we go any farther, take one slow breath in and let it go softly. If your mind has been trying to hold on to every detail, you can set that effort down now. The universe does not mind if you become fuzzy around the edges. In fact, it may be the perfect companion for drifting, because so much of it is already soft with distance, already blurred by light years, already wrapped in darkness and silence. Picture the night sky not as something above you, but as something gently surrounding you like deep water or a warm blanket. The facts we're moving through are only little lanterns along the path. You do not have to carry them. You can let them glow for a moment and then disappear behind you. You're doing great. There's no rush. There's nothing to do now except be here. Some listeners may still be wide awake. Some may already be halfway to dreaming. Both are perfectly fine. Let your body choose its own pace. Let the next wonders come to you the way starlight comes to Earth. Patiently, quietly, after long travel through the dark. Uranus is one of the most unusual worlds in our solar system because it seems to roll around the sun on its side, as if some old cosmic event tipped it over long ago and left it spinning in a permanent act of surprise. This sideways posture gives it extreme seasons, long stretches of sunlight and darkness that feel less like weather and more like moods of a tilted blue globe. Deep within Uranus, and perhaps Neptune too, scientists think conditions may allow carbon to be squeezed into forms so exotic that the phrase diamond rain has become a poetic possibility. No one is standing there with an umbrella, of course, but the idea of glittering materials sinking through alien depth has a dreamlike softness to it. Then we drift toward Pluto, small and distant, where a bright heart-shaped region lies across its surface, making that cold, faraway world look unexpectedly tender. Even at the fringes of the solar system, ice can arrange itself into something that resembles affection. Comets, those ancient wanderers from the outer dark, grow long glowing tails when they approach the sun, and those tails always point away from the sun no matter which direction the comet is traveling, as though the solar wind were forever brushing their luminous hair backward. On Earth, auroras ripple when charged particles meet our atmosphere, and on Jupiter those auroras can blaze even more powerfully, circling its poles like giant electric crowns. And at the center of all these circling worlds is the Sun, containing almost all the mass in the solar system, the bright anchor around which everything else quietly turns. It is easy to forget, when we speak of planets and moons and comets, that nearly all of the solar system's substance rests in that one great star. Around it, everything dances. Around it, everything falls and rises and circles and waits. And tonight, you can simply listen and rest as the dance continues without needing anything from you at all. The sunlight that touches your skin or warms a windowsill may take only 8 minutes to cross the distance from the sun to Earth, but the energy at its core began much earlier, taking a remarkably long, wandering path through dense solar layers before finally escaping into space. In that sense, even ordinary sunshine is ancient by the time it reaches us, a patient traveler wearing the disguise of immediacy. One day, billions of years from now, the sun may swell into a red giant, expanding enough to transform the inner solar system into something unrecognizable. But not tonight, and not for an age so vast that it can be folded away like a far future dream. Here in the present, our solar eclipses are so striking because the moon and sun happen to appear almost the same size in our sky, a coincidence of distance and scale that lets darkness bloom briefly at midday. The moon also helps steady Earth's axial tilt, which may have made our planet's long rhythms more stable than they otherwise would have been, like a quiet partner keeping the dance from wobbling too wildly. The tides raised by that same moon have gently slowed Earth's spin over immense stretches of time, making our days longer than they once were. So even the length of a day, which can feel so ordinary and fixed, has changed because of a silver world overhead. And in the upper atmosphere of Earth, there is also a soft natural glow called airglow, a faint shimmering that means our planet can glow even at night without thunder, without fire, without anyone switching anything on. The more closely you look at the universe, the more it seems full of these tender little surprises. A star whose light is older than it feels, a moon that steadies a planet, a night sky that glows on its own. Let yourself drift with that. There is no rush. If you'd like, let your breathing slow again here. In for a moment, out for a moment. Not in any strict pattern, just gently, just enough to remind your body that it is safe. The universe we are wandering through is full of motion, but you do not have to move with it. You can be still while planets spin, while moons drift, while ancient light keeps traveling. Sometimes sleep comes more easily when the mind is given something large to hold, not something stressful, something spacious. A moonlit canyon on Mars, a ring around Saturn, the soft heart on Pluto, a shadowed crater hiding ice. Let one image linger if it wants to. Let the others float away. You can simply listen and rest. If your thoughts wander, let them wander. If they return, let them return. We are moving slowly enough for both. And above every roof, every tree, every city, and every sleeping house, the same old sky remains, patient and dark and beautiful. When the sun sends streams of charged particles outward, Earth's magnetic field can guide some of them toward the poles, where they stir the atmosphere into curtains of green and red and violet. Auroras can seem like the sky remembering how to dance. In darker places, far from city lights, some people can also see zodiacal light, a faint triangular glow created by sunlight scattering off dust spread through the inner solar system, a soft cosmic hush before dawn or after dusk. Meteor showers come from trails of debris left by comets or asteroids, and the so-called shooting stars people wish upon are often no bigger than grains of sand or tiny pebbles, small things burning briefly and beautifully because they met the air at the wrong angle. Even tiny dust can make a moment feel unforgettable. Then the mind lifts from Earth's sky into the Milky Way, our home galaxy, with its hundreds of billions of stars spread in a broad spiral river of light. Somewhere in its hidden center lies Sagittarius A, the supermassive black hole at the heart of the galaxy, a massive dark anchor around which stars move in patient crowded arcs. And when astronomers revealed an image of a black hole's shadow in recent years, it felt almost mythic, as though humanity had finally managed to sketch the outline of one of the universe's quietest monsters. Yet stars themselves are not all the same. Some burn redder, some bluer, some cooler, some hotter, each color like a different tone in a cosmic lullaby. The sky that seems white and silver to sleepy human eyes is actually full of temperatures and personalities, a whole field of burning colors whispering overhead. There's nothing to do now except be here, and let that whisper continue. Some stars are so large that comparison almost fails. Betelgeuse, the reddish shoulder star in Orion, is so enormous that if you placed it where our sun is, it would extend past the orbit of the inner planets and reach astonishingly far into the solar system. It is a star that seems to have outgrown the idea of what a star should look like. And after some massive stars die, they leave behind neutron stars, objects so dense that a teaspoon of their material would weigh millions of tons. It sounds impossible because it nearly is, at least from an everyday point of view. A city-sized remnant holding so much matter so tightly that language starts to wobble around it. Some neutron stars become pulsars, sending beams of radiation sweeping through space like lighthouse beams, so that from Earth they seem to blink with almost impossibly steady rhythm. A star can become a clock. A death can become a pulse. There are also magnetars, a special kind of neutron star with magnetic fields so intense that they belong in the category of awe rather than intuition. These are not bedtime monsters exactly, because they are far away and quiet from here. But they do remind us that the universe can hold extremes without raising its voice. Supernovae, the explosions that create many of these remnants, are among the reasons heavier elements spread through space at all, which means the violent deaths of stars help make later worlds and bodies possible. Even gold and other heavy elements may owe part of their existence to collisions involving neutron stars, cataclysmic events that sound harsh when described plainly, yet from a distance become part of the great slow alchemy of the cosmos. We are made in part from old stellar endings. And somehow that thought can feel not frightening but deeply tender. By now, perhaps the facts are beginning to soften into atmosphere. Good, let them. You do not need to sort them. You do not need to build a tidy shelf in your mind for every planet and star. The night does not ask that of you. It only asks that you rest a little more deeply inside it. Imagine the universe as a great house with many dim rooms. We are moving from one room to another by lantern light, noticing a spinning storm here, a canyon there, a distant pulse of a dead star in another place entirely. There is no need to map the whole house tonight. It is enough to know that it is vast and that you are safe in your small, quiet corner of it. Let your hands unclench if they need to. Let your forehead smooth. Let your breathing be ordinary and easy. You're doing great. We still have a long, soft journey ahead, and you can fall asleep at any point along the way. The universe will keep speaking in a whisper, whether you hear the next sentence or not. In giant clouds of gas and dust, new stars are born. These stellar nurseries are not neat places, but drifting regions where gravity slowly gathers material until something bright begins. The Orion Nebula is one such place, a glowing cradle where stars are still coming to life, and it hangs in our sky as a reminder that creation is not only a thing of the past, it is ongoing. The Eagle Nebula, with its famous towering structures of dust and gas, shows us pillars shaped by radiation and wind, great ghostly columns that look almost architectural, like cathedrals being carved out of fog. Beauty in the universe often arrives through pressure and patience at once. Later in a star's life, some sun-like stars shed their outer layers and leave behind glowing shells called planetary nebulae, a name that sounds misleadingly solid and practical for something so delicate. They are not planets at all, but flower-like endings, luminous envelopes expanding into darkness. Some white dwarfs, the dense cores left behind by smaller stars, may eventually crystallize as they cool, and one famous example has often been described as diamond-like, as though a star's leftover heart could slowly become a cosmic jewel. Meanwhile, our own sun is just one star among many, not the center of the galaxy, not the largest, not the oldest, simply our local lantern. And most stars in the Milky Way are thought to be red dwarfs, smaller and dimmer than the sun, which means the galaxy may be filled with countless quiet little stars, modest lights that burn steadily in the dark. Not every wonder needs to blaze. Some wonders are gentle and small and enduring. Red dwarfs may also live astonishingly long lives, some potentially for trillions of years, far beyond the future lifespan of our sun. To think of a star enduring that long is to step into a timescale so patient it almost feels asleep itself. Many stars are not solitary like our sun, but exist in pairs or larger groups, binary and multiple systems where stars orbit a shared center, keeping company across unimaginable ages. In such systems, the night sky on a planet could hold two sunrises or two sunsets, two shadows, two kinds of dusk. And some planets really do orbit two stars, like the fictional worlds people once imagined were only movie magic. The universe, as usual, quietly arrived there first. Beyond our solar system, thousands of exoplanets have been discovered, each one a reminder that worlds are not rare decorations but common outcomes of star-making. Among the most famous is the TRAPPIST-1 system, where 7 Earth-sized rocky planets circle a small, cool star only about 40 light-years away. The planets are packed so closely that, from one, neighboring worlds might appear strikingly large in the sky. Some strange exoplanets may be so hot that metals can condense and fall in alien weather, giving rise to the eerie idea of iron rain. Others may be ocean worlds, with vast quantities of water beneath atmospheres we can only guess at. It is a deeply sleepy kind of wonder to realize that the universe does not just contain one place for weather, one kind of sky, one style of dawn. It contains many. So many that even now, while you lie here listening, other winds may be moving over other seas beneath other stars. Take another soft pause here. If your eyelids are heavy, let them be heavy. If your thoughts are starting to fragment into dreamlike shapes, let them fragment. That is not failure. That is the whole point of a sleepy journey like this. The facts are not meant to sharpen you tonight. They are meant to cradle you. Maybe you are picturing double sunsets now, or a red dwarf glowing quietly for trillions of years, or distant planets crowding the sky above one another. Let those images hover. Let them become softer. You don't have to decide which wonder is most beautiful. You don't have to rank the stars or organize the galaxies. There's no rush. Somewhere outside, the Earth is still turning. Somewhere above, the moon is still drifting. Somewhere farther away, unseen worlds are circling dim stars in silence. And here, for this little while, you can simply listen and rest. You can simply breathe and let the universe hold the edges of your attention until sleep gently rounds them off. Among the strangest ideas in astronomy is that not every planet belongs to a star. Rogue planets may drift through the galaxy without any sun at all, wandering cold and dark through interstellar night like lost lanterns with the flame put out. It is a lonely image, but a beautiful one too, because it reminds us that the universe permits all kinds of stories, even the wandering kind. On worlds that do belong to stars, gravity itself can produce extraordinary scenes. A planet orbiting 2 suns might know evenings of twin gold horizons, while another in a tightly packed system might see neighboring planets hanging huge and luminous overhead. These are not fantasies anymore. They are possibilities written into real orbital paths. Then there are the ripples in spacetime called gravitational waves, first predicted long before we could detect them, and finally heard not as ordinary sound, but as tiny distortions passing through the fabric of reality itself. When massive objects like black holes or neutron stars merge, the universe can ring very softly in geometry. And farther back than any star we can see shines the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the early universe, a bath of ancient radiation still filling space at only a few degrees above absolute zero. It is sometimes called the oldest light we can observe, and it means that the universe still carries a faint warmth from its beginning. Between galaxies, matter gathers into immense filaments and voids known as the cosmic web, a structure so grand it makes clusters of galaxies look like dew caught on invisible threads. Scale widens again and again until the mind stops trying to grip it. That is all right. Let yourself drift. Galaxies can collide, but because stars within them are separated by such enormous distances, These collisions are often more like ghostly interpenetrations than direct smash-ups. Vast systems drift through one another, slowly reshaping over millions or billions of years. Our own Milky Way and the neighboring Andromeda galaxy may one day have such an encounter, though the exact future path is still spoken of with some uncertainty. Either way, if such a meeting comes, it belongs to an age so far ahead that it may be held like a cloud on the horizon of deep time. The stars inside galaxies are not packed tightly like glitter in a jar. They are lonely in a spacious way, with astonishing distances between them. Even our Sun, circling the center of the Milky Way, takes roughly a couple 100 million years to complete one galactic orbit. Dinosaurs came and went in only a portion of our current trip around the galaxy. There are likely more stars in the observable universe than grains of sand on all Earth's beaches, a comparison so familiar it risks losing its softness. Yet if you picture it slowly, it regains it. Every shore on Earth, every tiny grain pressed under waves and feet, and still the stars outnumber them. Some galaxies hold hundreds of billions or even trillions of stars, while quasars blaze from the early universe as brilliant beacons powered by matter falling toward enormous black holes. Yet black holes do not behave like cosmic vacuum cleaners from a distance. They follow gravity's rules like anything else, becoming dangerous mainly when you go too near. The universe is not trying to snatch everything up. It is simply arranging motion, mass, and time in ways both graceful and strange. Let's slow the rhythm even more for a moment. Imagine all those galaxies not as overwhelming but as soft lanterns in a dark sea. One here, one there, a slow-turning collection of lights separated by quiet. The universe can seem huge in a way that startles, but it can also seem huge in a way that soothes. So much room, so much time, so much distance for worries to dissolve into. If you need it, remind yourself, there is nothing to do now except be here. You are allowed to be sleepy. You are allowed to lose the thread. The story will go on without asking anything of you. Let your breath be smooth. Let your tongue rest in your mouth. Let your shoulders sink. This is a long night journey, and like any good journey, it has places where we simply pause and look out the window. Outside that window now are galaxies, black holes, ancient light, and silent spaces between stars. Inside the room, there is only you, resting, safe, and slowly drifting. Time itself behaves differently depending on gravity and speed, which means the universe is not running on one single clock. Near stronger gravity, time can pass a little more slowly. It is one of those truths that feels almost too poetic to be physics, and yet there it is. The cosmos bends not just space, but time as well. Up in low Earth orbit, astronauts aboard the International Space Station see around 16 sunrises and sunsets in a single day because they circle Earth so quickly. Imagine living where dawn and dusk arrive in quick repetition, one after another like pages flipping in a luminous book. In the station's microgravity, astronauts can grow a bit taller for a while, and water does not pour into puddles the same way it does on Earth. Instead, it gathers itself into floating spheres, silver and trembling, as if every drop suddenly remembers it would rather be a pearl. Fire behaves strangely there too, often forming rounder flames than the tall teardrop shapes we know on Earth, because hot air does not rise in the same familiar way. On the Moon, where there is essentially no weather as we know it, Footprints can remain for a very long time, undisturbed by wind or rain. And in the vacuum of space, sound cannot travel the way it does through air, which means so much of the universe is silent to ordinary ears. Explosions do not roar across the void. They bloom in stillness. There is something deeply calming in that image, even if it is odd. A universe full of grand events, and yet beyond the atmospheres of worlds, mostly quiet. Let yourself drift into that quiet now. Humanity has sent tiny messengers into that quiet. The Voyager spacecraft carry golden records, little time capsules of sound and image and greeting, as if our species once stood at the shore of the solar system and tucked a note into a bottle. Voyager 1 has gone farther than any other human-made object, passing beyond the heliosphere into interstellar space, still moving outward, still carrying that small record of home. It is a tender idea that something built by hands on Earth is now traveling through the dark between stars. And the heliosphere itself, the great bubble inflated by the sun's particles and magnetic influence, gives our solar system a kind of invisible shoreline, a border not sharp but meaningful. Far beyond the main planets may lie the Oort cloud, a vast hypothetical shell of icy bodies surrounding the solar system at incredible distances, like a distant sleeping swarm of future comets. Closer in, the Kuiper belt holds icy remnants from the solar system's formation, including Pluto and many smaller worlds, a cold archive of beginnings. Saturn's moon Titan has lakes and seas of liquid methane and ethane on its frigid surface, making it one of the few places we know with stable liquid in broad pools, though not the kind you would want to sail without a very unusual boat. Another moon, Enceladus, sprays great plumes of water-rich material from beneath its icy crust, as if an ocean below were whispering upward through cracks. Even in the outer cold, hidden waters endure. Even in darkness, some worlds keep secrets beneath the ice. If you are still awake, you are doing wonderfully. If you are drifting, you are doing wonderfully too. There is no correct way to listen to the universe at bedtime. Some people hold on to every image. Some let the images pass through them like soft rain. Both are welcome here. Take a gentle breath and picture the solar system as a quiet lamp in a vast dark room. The planets circle. The moons follow. Tiny spacecraft drift away. Far shells of ice wait in silence. Beneath frozen crusts, hidden oceans may rock slowly in the dark. It is all so active, and yet from here it feels calm, almost ceremonial. Let yourself become calm in the same way. No rush, no pressure, just one breath then another. Just one dim star after another. You can simply listen and rest. If sleep wants to arrive now, you can let it. If it wants to wait, we will keep walking slowly under the cosmic night. Europa, one of Jupiter's great moons, may hide a vast saltwater ocean beneath its frozen shell, which means a world can look sealed and silent on the outside while holding moving water in darkness below. Ganymede, another of Jupiter's moons, is the largest moon in the solar system, even bigger than the planet Mercury. A reminder that moons are not always tiny companions, but can be worlds with grandeur of their own. Io, by contrast, is the most volcanically active body we know, its surface reshaped by constant eruptions driven by tidal stresses, making it a place where the ground itself rarely settles for long. Around Neptune, Triton circles in the opposite direction to the planet's rotation, suggesting it may have been captured long ago. It is cold beyond easy imagination, yet geyser-like plumes of material have been seen there too. Even the frozen outer reaches can surprise us with motion. Venus, turning backward compared with most planets, would seem to have the sun rise in the west and set in the east. Mercury swings between extreme heat and cold because it has so little atmosphere to spread warmth around. Mars can host blue sunsets because fine dust scatters light in a way opposite to the pattern familiar on Earth, so dusk there may glow with an eerie coolness rather than warm amber. On Jupiter, auroras can shine vastly brighter and more energetic than our own, powered by its giant magnetic field and its restless interaction with charged particles. It is lovely, in a sleepy way, to realize how many different kinds of sunset, weather, sky, and glow the universe can invent. Earth is not the template. It is one verse in a much longer song. On Neptune, each season can last for more than 40 Earth years because the planet takes so long to circle the sun. Imagine a winter that outlasts generations, or a summer that becomes the atmosphere of an entire lifetime. Uranus, tipped so dramatically, may spend around 21 years with one pole turned mostly toward the sun and then long years in the opposite condition, making its seasons feel almost theatrical, like the slow turning of a stage light. Pluto and its large moon Charon are tidally locked to each other, always showing one another the same face, a cosmic dance of mutual attention. They do not simply orbit, they keep looking at each other. It is one of the most romantic arrangements in the solar system, if a person is in the mood to find romance in orbital mechanics. The sun itself is not fixed in place, but travels around the center of the Milky Way, carrying Earth and all the planets with it. Even when we feel still, we are moving in many ways at once. Earth rotating, Earth orbiting, the solar system sweeping through the galaxy. The galaxies revealed in deep-field telescope images look like crowded little islands of light. Thousands of them in patches of sky that once seemed empty. Emptiness, it turns out, often only means we have not yet looked closely enough, and much of the universe is still mysterious in a quieter way. Most of its content appears to involve dark matter and dark energy, names that are really acknowledgments of humility, labels for realities we infer more than fully understand. The universe does not tell us everything at once. It keeps some of its tenderness inside mystery. This might be a good place to loosen your thoughts even more. You have traveled through volcanoes and hidden oceans, through blue sunsets and locked moons, through long alien seasons and galaxies tucked into dark patches of sky. If it feels like too much to hold clearly, that is completely all right. The point is not clarity now. The point is softness. Let the facts become more like weather than information. A cool breeze from Neptune, a distant glow from Jupiter's poles, a frozen ocean beneath Europa's crust, a spacecraft moving outward forever. The mind can rock gently on images like these. You're doing great, there's no rush. There's nothing to fix tonight and nothing to finish before sleep. The universe is ancient and patient. It can keep the story going while you rest inside it. Just listen if you want. Drift if you want. Be still if you want. Every slow option is welcome here. The universe is expanding, which means that on the largest scales, distant galaxies are generally moving away from one another as space itself stretches. It is not that galaxies are racing through a fixed emptiness like sparks from a fire, but that the emptiness between them is growing. This expansion helps explain why the observable universe is so vast, and it carries a strangely soothing message. The cosmos knows how to unfold. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, simple and ancient, the plain little building block from which stars first formed in great numbers. From such simplicity came all the later richness, heavier elements, planets, oceans, bodies, breath. Even complexity begins softly. The atoms in your body have traveled through astonishing histories. Some were forged in stars. Some were scattered by stellar deaths. Some may once have belonged to ancient rocks, old seas, leaves, clouds, or other living things long before becoming part of you. In a literal and gentle way, every person is made of rearranged cosmic memory. There may also be a faint sea of relic particles, such as ancient neutrinos, passing quietly through space and through us almost without interaction, reminders that the universe still carries whispers from its earliest times. And what we call empty space is not entirely empty either. On the deepest levels known to physics, even vacuum has a restless quality, not a perfect nothingness but a subtle field of possibility. So the cosmos is not dead space sprinkled with objects. It is alive with structure, history, and quiet hidden activity. Let yourself rest inside that living vastness. If you were to look at Earth from far enough away, our entire planet would become what one famous image suggested, a pale little point suspended in darkness. From that distance, all arguments soften. Borders disappear. Noise disappears. What remains is a blue world with clouds wrapped around it, moving through blackness under a star. And yet on that tiny world, life learned to look back. That may be one of the most wondrous facts of all. The universe produced creatures able to wonder at the universe. We are not outside the story observing it from a safe, clean distance. We are inside it, made by it, awake within it for a brief while. Our galaxy itself is only one among countless others, each holding its own histories of starbirth and planetary weather and dark hidden centers. In some distant future, new telescopes or new minds may uncover still stranger truths. But already, we know enough to say that the cosmos is both more beautiful and more peculiar than it first appears. It has storms larger than worlds, rings thin as whispers, stars that pulse like clocks, moons with hidden oceans, and background light left over from near the beginning. It has tiny spacecraft drifting into interstellar space, giant webs of galaxies, and common elements giving rise to uncommon beings. It has made room for wonder and sleep in the same night. And maybe that is why it helps to think about the universe before bed. It stretches the mind just enough that the mind finally lets go. Let this be our last quiet pause before the end. You have traveled a long way tonight, even if you never moved at all. Through stars and dust, oceans and rings, black holes and soft blue worlds, ancient light and future silence. And now the journey can grow even slower. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel the air around you. Let the room become small and safe again, while the universe remains large and gentle in the background. You do not have to keep reaching outward. You can simply float here for a while, held between the closeness of your own breathing and the farness of the stars. If your thoughts are still busy, let them drift upward like faint comets, each one passing, each one fading. If your body is heavy, let it be heavy. If your eyes want to close, let them close. You can simply listen and rest. We are almost at the quiet shore of the night now. One sleepy wonder is that the same physical laws seem to reach across immense distances. The atom in your hand and the star in a distant galaxy both answer, in their own ways, to the deep order of the cosmos. The universe is not random noise scattered without pattern. It is strange, yes, but also coherent, threaded through with relationships that let light travel, matter gather, worlds form and life awaken. Another wonder is that every breath you take includes atoms older than Earth itself, ancient travelers passing through lungs and leaves and seas for eons before this quiet moment. To breathe is, in a way, to participate in cosmic recycling. And perhaps the softest wonder of all is that consciousness appeared here at all, on one small world around one ordinary star, long enough to ask what the universe is and to feel comforted by the answer not being complete. We do not know everything. That is part of the beauty. Mystery remains, not as a problem to fear tonight, but as a vast dark meadow where thought can lie down. So here is the 100th sleepy wonder of the universe. For a brief little while, in a cosmos billions of years old and broader than imagination can hold, you are here, listening, resting, alive inside the great unfolding. And that is enough. More than enough. Let yourself drift. And now, as our long quiet journey comes to its gentle close, let the whole universe gather itself into one final image. Not a chart, not a lecture, not a crowded set of facts you have to carry carefully home, but a single slow picture. Imagine the night sky above you once more, wide and velvety and dark. The stars are scattered across it like distant embers. Somewhere among them are red dwarfs burning patiently for spans of time almost too long to name. Somewhere there are worlds of ice and methane, moons with hidden oceans, storms older than memory, and black holes holding court in the silent centers of galaxies. Somewhere, very far off, ancient background light still glows faintly from the early universe, as though creation itself left the smallest warm trace behind. And here, beneath your own patch of sky, your breathing rises and falls. Quietly, reliably, softly. We began tonight by stepping into the universe as if it were a great dreamy landscape, and now perhaps it feels a little less like a collection of facts and a little more like a place. A place of enormous distances, yes, but also a place full of rhythm. Moons orbiting, planets turning, stars forming and fading, spacecraft drifting, light traveling, tides pulling, seasons lengthening, dust glowing. The cosmos is not still, but it is patient. And maybe that is what makes it such a gentle companion for sleep. It does not demand your effort. It does not need you to chase it. It simply keeps unfolding, whether you stay awake to hear about it or not. If any part of tonight's journey stays with you, maybe it will not be a number or a name, but a feeling. The feeling of Venus spinning so slowly that its day outlasts its year. The feeling of Saturn somehow light enough on average to imagine floating. The feeling of hidden ice on Mercury, of a heart-shaped plane on Pluto, of Jupiter wearing auroras like a crown. The feeling of the Milky Way turning in silence, of neutron stars pulsing like lighthouses, of ancient photons crossing impossible dark to arrive at last. These are facts, yes, but in the night they become something else too. They become a kind of reassurance. Proof that reality is wider and more beautiful than our stressed, hurried daytime minds often remember. And perhaps that is one of the kindest things science can offer at bedtime. Not just answers, but perspective. A reminder that your worries, real as they may be, are not the whole sky. A reminder that there are larger rhythms holding everything. A reminder that the same universe that can make storms on Jupiter and rings around Saturn also allows for quiet bedrooms, soft blankets, dim lamps, and moments like this one, where a tired person can lie down and feel small in a comforting way, not a lonely way. Small like a leaf floating on a lake, small like a house under stars, small like a planet circling an ordinary sun in one galaxy among many. There can be peace in that kind of smallness. There can be relief. So if your mind is still turning, let it turn more slowly now. If it is already loosening, let it loosen. You do not need to replay everything. You do not need to remember the order of the worlds or the names of the moons. You do not need to stay awake for the ending. In fact, if sleep has been quietly waiting at the edge of this story, you can let it come closer now. You can let the facts dissolve into images, and the images dissolve into darkness, and the darkness becomes soft and welcoming rather than empty. Imagine Earth from a great distance once more, blue, clouded, delicate, turning in black space. Somewhere on that little turning world is this room. Somewhere in this room is you, resting. Around you are walls and blankets and familiar things. Above all of it is the night. Above the night are the stars. Beyond the stars are more stars. Beyond those are galaxies. Beyond those are depths no single mind can fully hold. And still, somehow, here you are, safe enough to sleep. Thank you for spending this time with me, for wandering through these sleepy wonders of the universe together. If this kind of calm science storytelling helps you unwind, you're always welcome back here on another night, whenever you need a quiet place for your thoughts to land. And if it feels natural, you can subscribe or leave a like so more peaceful nights like this can find you. But only if you're still awake enough, and only if it feels easy. There's really no need to do anything at all now. You've already done enough, more than enough. For the rest of the night, let the universe keep watch. Let the stars stay distant and gentle. Let the planets keep their ancient roots. Let the hidden oceans rock beneath their frozen shells. Let Voyager continue outward. Let the moon keep drifting. Let the earth keep turning. Let the sunlight wait for morning. And let yourself be exactly as you are, tired, human, small, miraculous, and ready for rest. There's no rush. You can simply listen and rest. You're doing great. Let yourself drift. There's nothing to do now except be here. Good night, and may the universe feel very wide and very soft around you as you fall asleep.